Page 19, melody. 4/4 time. Got one flat in the key signature. We're in the key of F. All the B's are flatted. Let's take it one hand at a time, starting with the right hand. Now the left hand has eighth notes, and that'll help you with the 16th, this dotted rhythm, because you can see how the notes line up. So here it's 1 and 2. 1 E and a 2. 1 E and a 2 E and. Reach up for the F. And then come down. Measure 4. Look up. See the numbers at the beginning of the line in the boxes? Those are measure numbers. So measure 4. First measure the second line. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I'm too lazy to go 1 E and a 2 E and up. I can do 1 and 2 and I can feel the 16th notes in between. Go on, you're down here. Lift up and move. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Or 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 and. Rhythm-wise, that's about as tricky as it gets till you get down to the bottom. Do the last line. You're up here. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Crossover. 3 and. Last measure. 1 and 2. Hold that down, it's a half note, and just add the A, and then add the F. So all three notes are down at the end, because the A is tied. You don't play it again, hang on to it. It's called finger pedaling, when the fingers hold the notes down so you can hear them longer, which is what the pedal would do if we used it. That's all. Left hand, eighth notes. 1 and. Now they're saying 2, so you're in this position. Isn't this fun? You're just going to do this over and over and over for a while. Not always. Look at the second, well, it's measure 5. Find that, and it's here. And then you back up here. Third line, you get treble clef, so you just come up here. Be natural. I'm going to use second finger again. And then I'm just going to stay here. You see the 5-1? That's an indication for a finger substitution. You play it with the first number, and then while you're holding it down, you put the second number on it. You substitute a finger. So it's play it with the 5th, and while you're holding it down, put the thumb on it. I substituted. It's a way we can change hand positions and still play legato. I do a lot of finger substitutions. They're fun. And then go on. At the very end, last measure, you're up here. Now, I would do a 2 on the C because I'm here. I mean, you have a half or an eighth rest, you can move down, but why? I just stay here and there's a 2-1. You gotta hold the C down, it's tied. Here, I'll do that. Put the hands together slowly. So forth. Now into the second line, going into the third. You're going from here. You're out of position in both hands. The right hand's got to come up here. Left hand's got to come here. I suggest you scrunch up the left hand and put the left hand on it so you can feel this. And we do this quite a bit in piano. So just feel this. That way you can focus on getting the right hand where you need to go, because you're here. You can reach up. If your hand's big enough, you can reach up and get it. Otherwise, you got to move. But if I scrunch up the left hand, I can focus here to get up here. So again. The bottom, the last measure, you're here. Holding them all down at the end. They're all tied. Then add the articulation. The only articulation really are the slurs. So forth, just lift up, just like a little breath between each one. The left hand, you just play it as legato as you can. You can't, but play it as legato as you can, except maybe for the wrists. Now you'll notice in a few places on the slurs, now again, it's just for the right hand. The left hand you play all legato as best you can. The right hand you're lifting up so you can a little breathing, like between the second and third measures of the first line. You hit the second measure here, lift, like taking a breath. That's fine, a little silence. Same thing in the second line. But when you get to the third line, between the second and third measure, one slur meets another slur. They come together. You connect, you don't separate those, connect them. So they come together. It's an elided phrasing is what it is. They come together. There's no silence between them. You get the same thing in the next line between the second and third measure. Connect those. Don't, they could put a slur over the whole thing, but they didn't. So connect all of that together. And at the beginning of the last line, again, the slurs come together. There's no silence between those. Until you get to the half note, and then you lift up. In dynamics, it's moderately soft, and that's the melody, which is the right hand. Keep the left hand out of the way. And you're going to crescendo up, maybe to a moderately loud. Don't get loud, just a little louder. Come back down, moderately soft again. And then second line, you're loud here, or you're moderately soft to moderately loud, a little louder. You come back down to moderately soft. And here, you have matching hairpins in the second line, the last two measures. So look in the middle. Where are the notes? Those are the notes you're after. So you're going to get louder up to that C and then come back down. So it's here, the second measure there. To moderately loud. There's not a lot of difference between moderately soft and moderately loud, but you can, at the end of the second line, come all the way down to soft. And then you're moderately at there, and then second measure, you're coming down a little bit. And there's a poco ritardo, and you slow down. And then, now, a little bit about interpretation. When you get some sort of a ritardando or poco rit or whatever it is, and then an off tempo, the off tempo means resume the speed you were going before you changed it. When you resume the speed, a lot of times people won't just suddenly take off again. They will speed up. They will gradually and quickly speed up. So they'll take the first beat or so to get back up to speed. It won't be instant. So at the end of the second measure, you're slowing down. The first beat might still be a little slower, but you start speeding up. Otherwise, you'd instantly start speeding up. So other people will play it that way. They will just instantly start speeding up and keep going. Different ways of interpreting it. You have to experiment and decide which way do you like. Maybe one person plays it one way and another plays it another, but you have to be aware of the different ways it can be played, or you'll blindly just copy whoever you happen to hear. You got to make it yours, not somebody else's. So there on the odd tempo, I would tend to just gradually speed up. I'd take a beat or so to get back up to tempo. So forth, and at the end you have a poco retard there, and you're going to slow down there, or you're going to die away too. I want to hear the half note F all the way through to the end. These other notes, they're just harmony notes. I want to hear the F is the note I'm after. Then andantino is, well, people don't agree on andantino. You have moderato and andante. And andantino, some people say is a little quicker than andante, and other people say it's a little slower than andante. whichever your teacher wants is fine. To me, you could just pretty much play it on Dante and see, which is just like a leisurely stroll, and that's the flow of the piece. Don't drag it. It's got a flow, but it's not a quick piece. That's out of character. It's got to slowly. That's my impression of it. Later on today, I'd play it different. Tomorrow, I'd play it different. I'd play by feel. It's how I feel it. Please don't copy me. Just get into the music and start feeling it. And then you can really make it yours. I'd like to play it very, very slowly to double check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do the dynamics. I can't slow down with a metronome. So we'll just keep going. I'll give us 4 counts. Let's try it together. Now I put the metronome on 8th notes, so it's beating 8th notes. 1 and 2 and. Well, let's try it at that speed and see if we can do it. 1 and 2 and ready and go and 1 and